What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez, and with me tonight it's Gorman, the stats man. Chris Gorman, there he is. Oh, he's ready to see red and bleed bulls. The lawn boss, Roy McCrowski, get that joke.
I did a lot of writing. I did a lot of writing.
I did a lot of writing and doing
Chris,
a lot of
did you have a stat?
editing.
Wait. Did Chris have a stat?
Stats. Where we're going, we don't need stats.
Ooh.
Oh, well done, my friend. I did watch Back to the Future over the holiday break, so that was chef's kiss. And the is a walking chef's kiss. The professional Adam Bruns. I love us tonight, Adam.
They were good until you said that. I don't know what I'm. Is that a compliment? I mean, I guess. Thank you.
We're in a cheery mood, I guess. Where it's the new year, new us. The Box Out Boys are ready to go.
New year, new
Doing
me.
new things here. We're making friends along the way. All right. Well, it is the first show of the new year for the Box Out Boys, and as is tradition, we're going to do our New Year's resolutions for every single team. Joey's got the honors this year as he worked this up, helped us out a lot with this. So, Joey, give us your overall thoughts here on the new year. What was your approach going into the resolutions? And then let's just start knocking them out.
Yeah, the approach this year was a little bit more eye test, general feeling, a little bit less
I like it.
in-depth stat research. Last year, there was a lot of individual stat pulling and kind of just like, focusing on something. I went more like team identity and maybe, a piece here and there kind of thing.
Finding yourself.
I think I've got some pretty good intros or some pretty good, one-liner resolutions. I'm pretty confident. I also think I referenced gambling and like the lottery and betting way too much. So see if you guys pick up on that as well. Because when I got done and reread it, I was like, yeah, I'm not rewriting this, but that's where we're at.
That's what was on my mind. All right, hit us with the first team here.
All right, first team, we're going division and conference. So starting, the Atlantic. So Boston Celtics.
Ooh.
Their New Year's resolution is to take it game by game. This isn't the first season in recent memory that Boston has looked poised to dominate the league and be the hands-down favorite for a title. Porzingis and Drew Holiday have proved to be excellent additions, but they still have the problem of forgetting how to basketball whenever things don't go their way. Don't look ahead. Remember what gets you to this position every season and continue to execute on that.
All right, I like it. Chris, what do you think, man? Is that what they need to do here? Just keep taking it one game at a time?
Yeah, I agreed with this a lot. Forgetting how to play basketball is a thing. So going on that point, I think the forgetting how to play basketball comes from the fact that they don't have a true alpha dog on this team. Where they're one of the best teams in the league, but Jason Tatum's not even considered top 5 in the league. Even Bill Simmons had SGA over Jason Tatum in the league. Derek White's getting a lot of buzz for All-Star, which is great for him. But this team just doesn't have that guy, right? So I think adding on to this resolution is beyond just taking it game by game, it's getting Tatum to take that next step, because without that, no matter how good you are, you're gonna get beat up in the playoffs unless you're the Pistons, which hasn't been done in 20 years.
So it's Tatum be that guy and take it game by game. I like this.
Game by game and get a guy.
Get a guy. And I will be seeing Boston in February, so I'm excited about that. All right, Joey, keep it rolling.
All right, vibe check for the Celtics. Let's move on to the Brooklyn Nets. Find a way to be Raptors-esque. They've got length up and down the roster that should be causing opposing matchup fits, yet they all seem to want the team to be theirs. Bridges may be one of the best fit players on the right team, but is he the right player on a team looking for a fit? Get an identity and own it.
I like this a lot. Raptors-esque is a good way to put it. This team should be like that feisty, sort of scrappy, some is better than, or some greater than the parts type of team. You're spot on with that Bridges analysis. Love that little line, the way you put it there. How is it? Is he the right fit?
Maybe one of the best fit players on the right team, but is he the right player on a team looking for a fit?
Oh, just lyricism, just dropping bars here to start it open. Chris, what do you think on that one?
That's about right. I like they're like Raptors-esque in the offensive sense, right? They're a pretty good offensive team, but defensively is kind of their struggle. I don't really care about Brooklyn. We can,
They're a 1 on the Caro meter.
I'm at my Caro meter.
I was thinking more lengthwise, right? Like they seem like a very lengthy, big team, and kind of remind me of the Raptors in their post Kawhi era.
Yeah, it's everybody 6'9" and up.
Everybody's got long arms.
Long arms. All right, who's next?
The New York Knickerbockers are next. Their resolution is capitalize. Brunson is having another all-star caliber year, and if it wasn't for the ascension of Tyrese Halliburton, he'd probably be the potential starting point guard in the all-star game. He traded away talent that never reached his full potential in RJ and Emmanuel Quickly for a tried and true two-way player in OG Anunoby. Don't let another season waste away by being mid.
Well played. Chris, what do you think about that?
Man, that point is so true, where if it wasn't for Halliburton, he'd be the potential starting guard.
Yeah.
Instead, we have people like Becky Hammond talking about how like Brunson's good, but he's too small to actually win it. Which, she got too much hate for that, but I also disagreed with that take. I think Brunson is good enough. I don't care how tall you are. I love what New York did. I think what OG did is going under the radar a little bit, and I think don't let another season waste away by being mid. The team was quietly top 4 last year, right? They beat the Cavs in 5. So I think this team could be a contender for the East after this trade, and I like it for the Knicks.
Yeah, I can see a sneaky conference finals run if matchups line up right. So
right,
for sure,
a sneaky contender for the East after a one-player trade. It's a hot take, Chris.
Yeah, that's spicy there.
They got Precious too. We never talked about Precious, the player, not the movie.
Because he's not that precious.
He's not that precious. I think I agree there with Becky Ham there. Too small, man. Yeah. There's a certain as a small guard myself, I have a bias against small guards. I understand the limits that they have.
You have some trauma in your past.
I'm not a hater, man. I'm a small guard, and you know what? There's big dudes out there, and they stop you every once in a while. All right, Joey, keep it rolling.
Okay, Philadelphia 76ers. Chris's maybe favorite intro line. Their resolution is put your back into it. You've shed all of your problem children and allowed Tyrese Maxey to blossom alongside another dominant season from Joel Embiid.
That's true.
Can Tobias be your third option when it counts? Who's the fourth option? Those are easy excuses that they've used over and over again, but we're all tired of those excuses, and it's time to win when it counts.
Yeah, I think this is for sure. This is another spot on right here. All that matters for them is the playoffs. I checked today. They're leading the league in net rating right now. They look, on paper right now, they're playing some of the best ball. I know that the record's not quite as good as Boston's. Still, they're playing some of their best ball. But even now, it doesn't matter until it gets in that second round conference finals of the Eastern Conference. So, Chris, any thoughts on that?
The fact that Maxey and Embiid combined for 60 points on average a game is insane. So, Joey's point is spot on with the third and fourth option. Tobias, you can have him. Harris, who's the new leader of that grouping. Kelly Oubre was kind of that guy.
Yeah.
This weird quote-unquote his car accident. Let's just say car accident. We don't need a car accident. He hasn't been the same. So, there's a trade looming here. I'm excited to see. My resolution with this team is, make a good trade, which Daryl Morey has done again and again in the past, so we'll see what happens. This team's unfinished.
Player Pat Bev. Don't forget the Pat Bev effect. Okay.
Oh man, yeah.
I did forget about Pat Bev. Sorry.
That's worth half a win.
Really, he's a legend there, a Minnesota legend. I thought
that meme will never die. I swear. Like just the crying.
It's almost as legendary as the KD. My next move.
My next adventure.
My next adventure. Yeah, it's a good one. All right, Joey, give us the next team.
All right, Toronto Raptors. Their resolution is execute Order 66.
Oh man, I like it.
See, you guys got a movie reference in here.
You've never seen Star Wars. Oh, you have seen Star
That's
Wars.
a lot for Joey there.
I haven't seen all of them. I kind of stopped after a while, but
Do you see? Never mind.
Do you see what it's from?
no.
I think it's,
Wait, Attack of the Clones.
no, it's
Oh, it
the
was
Sith one, right? Revenge of the Sith.
Was it
That's got to be
Revenge?
the one. It's got to be the Revenge.
It didn't happen in Clones.
It
That
might
was
have been
Attack of the
Clones.
Clones, isn't it? When
Oh no,
Palpatine
yeah, it is in Attack of the Clones. Never mind. All right,
Oh,
never
the Clones,
mind.
yeah.
starts
Okay.
the Clone War. See,
Yeah. All right, man. Wow, you correct
Wow.
me. Yeah,
you know what? New year, new me. So you just blew your
I'm gonna
fucking
look
mind.
that up.
All right. It's time to finish what you started. Last year, we said stay the course and see what you can get out of this team. Well, what you got was getting bounced by the Bulls in the play-in tournament. You've watched Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet walk at the end of their contracts, two pretty big players for them. And you walked at the end of their contracts, and the allure of Toronto basketball may not have the shine that it once did. Don't make the same mistake with Siakam and Gary Trent Jr. Be brave.
Be brave, Chris. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, be brave. What man? Just make some trades. I like that Masai trade, OG. After we talked to a couple weeks ago about him being on the naughty list, he's got a couple more trades to do. So
Sorry,
Do
I did look that up. It is in Revenge of the Sith. Sorry, I had to confirm.
Dang.
that was a quick, nice job. Wow.
It took me a minute there to figure out where it was from.
It's not New Year, New Me. Never mind.
It's all right. I will give you bonus points for knowing it. So
Yeah.
all right, hit us with the next team.
Chicago Bulls.
Oh,
We're into the Central, guys. Their resolution is get real. Last year, the resolution last year was figure it the fuck out. They haven't figured anything out, and they've continued to tout continuity. Well, the same team, the continuity got them embarrassed multiple times to start the season, and they're now on the verge of trading Zach. Verge is more precipice, I guess, is the right word. On the precipice of trading Zach.
Wow.
The youngins have showed some promise through late November and early December, but have regressed back to their mean. Your best player at this moment is Andre Drummond.
Oh man.
Pick a direction, tell us what that direction is, and stick with it. This is more of, I don't care what you do, just do something and stick with it and stop just like meddling about.
Yeah, I was kind of curious to see which direction you were going to go with this. Was there any thought to making the resolution trade Levine? Like just get the trade done?
No, I not because I thought of it and then chose to ignore it. I didn't think it was a singular focus. I think making that the resolution is the thing that they should most focus on and try to do would be misguided, and it needs to be more than just one, right?
It needs to be more about direction, not necessarily a single.
Yeah, I've been steadfast on that. Like if one goes, they all have to go. You can't just send Zach down the road and then expect that this team is going to be, all of a sudden a contender. Like this little 15-game stretch without him is not like, this is a flash in the pan. This isn't.
Yeah, no, and I think you kind of see the last couple of games, they've sort of been kind of coming back to reality. Like Kobe's 3-point shooting is kind of cooled off a little bit. So
have there been any updates on Levine coming back?
He's potentially coming back Friday is what I heard?
You're saying late this week or early next week.
Okay. I'm just gonna sounds good. I'll hold all comments until then, because we have until what's the trade deadline?
February 8th. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So
Fun stat, Chris, for you on Andre Drummond. There's potential that he breaks Dennis Rodman's rebounding record. Apparently there's a record for percentage of available rebounds gathered. And Dennis Rodman holds that it's like 28% of potential available rebounds he got, which apparently has been like an untouchable number. And right now Drummond is at like 30%.
Wow, I love that stat.
Little big man stat for you to keep your eye on there.
Beautiful stat.
Available rebound percentage. Did not know that was a thing. When that's on the broadcast, you're stretching when they're getting 30 by the Sixers. So. All right, next team up in the Central, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Their resolution is surge. The Cavs need to surge and do it loudly and without hesitation. Nobody saw the Donovan Mitchell trade coming in 2022, and it looked great and still does. Don't give him any reason to question his next free agency. Without Donovan, nobody is talking about Cleveland, and we're barely talking about them anyways. And don't blow one of the sneaky best trades of that 2022 summer.
Yeah, I think to me, they're a team. They need to do something, and I think they need to start looking for a move. I know they got a lot of injuries right now, and that's kind of where is giving them some time. But I think last year's playoff performance wasn't good enough for me to just go. I feel like this is a team that could potentially get into a Bulls situation where they had enough of a shine to for them to say, let's hold this nucleus together and see what they can be when they're all healthy, while ignoring the reality of the fact that they really weren't that good when it happened. So let's just go ahead and start making some moves around the periphery. Chris, what do you think?
My thing on them was Donovan Mitchell, I think, is putting up the quietest 28 points per game, or maybe the most meaningless 28 points per game since Isaiah Thomas. I said quietest, but he did it so loudly, but also he was out of the league, right?
Yeah.
I said put up or shut up for this team, and I think Joey's point is surge. What do you mean by surge?
I mean, I think you said it perfectly. Donovan Mitchell's having the quietest 28 points per game you've ever seen, and it was that should be better, and that should be being talked about more. And the fact that the team is just kind of meh outside of him is what they need to kind of situate. So Titus's point of you need to add somebody to kind of bring you back to relevancy. You're not a bad team, but it needs to be some sort of crazy long win streak, or him put up 71 again, to get them kind of back on the map and getting talked about again. Because Mitchell kind of strikes me as the kind of guy who likes the attention and likes kind of the media focus. And I feel like if he's not going to get that spotlight, I could see him not wanting to stay in Cleveland after his contract is up next season, end of next season.
Yeah, that's something Cleveland needs to understand. You either got to go out and get him some pieces, or start looking at, all right, can we get a big haul?
Jared Allen's got to get traded to OKC.
They need a Cleveland wave. Get him on the wave and surge.
It's kind of we'll see.
All right, next up, the Detroit Pistons.
Win a game.
They made the list, guys.
Yeah.
They had to be out.
They're a one.
Luckily, they had won a game before I wrote this, so they at least got that. But their resolution is go all in on Cade. He lost 28 in a row, and barring a miracle, will be the worst team in the league record-wise at the end of the season. Cade has shown stretches of being the franchise star they hoped for when drafting him number 1 in 2021, but there's still concerns in his efficiency and decision-making, high turnovers, poor shooting. If there was ever a season to see what you have in a player, this is the time. This one's pretty easy. Your record is so bad. Stop tooling with roster configurations and starting lineups. It should be all in on Cade. You give him the keys and you say, hey, you see what you can do, and we're going to make a decision, on the future of this direction of this team based on what you show us in the half season.
I'm okay with that. I mean, like you said, Carroll meter is a 0. Is there going to be a negative care on this team? I don't really care about them at all. But I could see just making a decision on, is Cade the guy we want going for the future, and what are the pieces that we should be putting around him?
I didn't realize there were questions that Cade isn't the guy. Cade looks great. Cade went up against Tatum, and they should have beaten maybe they should have kind of won that Boston game. That was the most exciting I watched this year. So I agree with this point. Let's just Detroit should really just fire their nepotism front office and actually hire and bring in some real guys that can actually analyze talent at an NBA level. But that's not going to happen. So
dig it to the young guy.
Keep it going.
All right, Indiana Pacers. Their resolution is it's a question. It's trade for Tibbs.
Wait, what?
Trade for Tibbs.
Tibbs?
Okay.
Trade for Tibbs.
The coach?
All jokes aside, the Pacers need to learn some defense.
I like that.
They can score and score fast, but being in the bottom 3 of defensive efficiency doesn't bode well for a deep playoff run. They should be better with an elite shot blocker and Miles Turner anchoring the defense, so it comes down to effort and knowing you have to be more than a one-headed monster when it counts. That's where it comes from. It's not a real resolution, but it's mostly fine defense. But, Trade for Tibbs?
Trade for Tibbs?
Tibbs? Yeah.
Trade for Tibbs? I feel like that's going to be a new Box Out Boys slogan. Whenever a team needs defense, just trade for Tibbs. Trade for Tibbs. I'm with you on that one, man. They need a D up for sure. Obviously, been struggling a little bit since the IST. Mojo doesn't feel the same quite as much for that team, but not a lot of real playoff buzz because of the poor defensive stuff.
What was Carlisle's quote? I think it was I wish I wrote it down, but he said a hot girl is only so hot for so long until you realize they can't play defense. Something like that. And I was like, okay, I kind of get what you're saying, Carlisle.
Did you just make that up yourself?
No, he's.
I feel like he attributed that to
so
Carlisle.
You can say it.
I was gonna look it up. We should do a segment where Chris makes up coaches' quotes.
Chris or Coach?
Chris or Coach, and it's a line that Chris goes, did a coach say this or did I make this up? A hot girl is only so hot.
But even dating a pretty girl gets boring after a while if she can't guard anybody. That's the quote.
That's the quote.
But even
I get what he was trying to say, but that's a little tough there, Carlisle.
Fantastic.
That's tough.
If you can't guard him, and that makes sense though. Like Buddy Hield is a beautiful man, but he can't guard anybody. So I think that's kind of what he's getting at.
He's a beautiful man. I think he's a good looking guy.
So
just you're talking about hot girls and beautiful men.
Hey, everybody's beautiful, Joey.
Box Out Boys after dark.
Box Out Boys. Ooh, stay on it late tonight. Get it going.
All right, so Indiana Pacers, they need defense.
Yeah.
Got
that D.
Okay, what's going on the Bucks here?
Milwaukee Bucks, their opening, their resolution is need Tibbs too?
Oh, all right. Tibbs, they're going everywhere.
It was kind of funny. It just lined up, right? The Bucks are 24th in defensive rating this season, a big fall for a team accustomed to being in the top 10. They gambled on trading elite defense for elite offense, and they've shown they can score with the best of them. Is an identity change really what this team needed, or were small changes the right move? The bet's been made, but the defense needs to improve if they want to cash in.
Yeah, I'm with you on this again. I'm really gonna be curious to see what happens with Dame in the playoffs when he's got to guard somebody, when they can hunt him. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. Chris?
Yeah, I agree with this too. It's because they seem so. They see some very, what's the word? Thin. Like after their top 5, you got Malik Beasley, Jay Crowder, Cameron Payne. So it's like, all right, they made these trades, but they didn't really bring in any. I don't even think the trade's the problem. I think it's who they brought in as the role players aren't really that great. Losing guys like Dante DiVincenzo and let's not name any others, but
are they maybe a buyer here in the next couple of weeks trying to find some bodies just to have some rotation depth, like minimal sort of.
I don't even know if it's at the defense. Like how do you improve defense through trades? Do you bring in Pat Bev? That's kind of that kind of guy.
Got it. Maybe somebody like that, a defensive sort of guy. I don't know who's really available, but
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if they have the pieces to make it happen either.
Yeah, I think they probably gave up a lot.
I'm still lukewarm on the Bucks. I think the Knicks could beat the Bucks in a playoff series.
Wow.
I think so. Like, I don't know if you guys.
It's high on OG and the Knicks.
I saw Randall beat the Minnesota earlier this week. I think I'm still.
That's what happened.
That,
we should have seen that.
Yeah, it's fair.
He's like they beat a real title contender, so now I feel like they can beat it.
Now I feel like they can win it. Now I have to feel like they can win it. Yeah,
fair. Shown the might.
He doesn't want to point out his team just lost to the Knicks, so
Brunson's awesome.
praising them as a title contender now.
Good. He's
too short to win. All right, Joe, keep it going.
All right, the Atlanta Hawks moving out of the Central Division. Their resolution is choose a path. Titus's favorite team. We seem to satisfy Trey as he's returned to form this season with high scoring and aggressiveness, but they failed to build correctly around him. If you remember correctly, our resolution last year was satisfy Trey, right? Was make him happy at all costs because he seems the kind of guy who could throw a fit and just kind of whatever. But they've dabbled in trades. They sent John Collins out finally, but the DeJounte Murray experience has been less than ideal. There's not much else to write home about for the Hawks. They got a good coach. You got a star. Now it's time to add the pieces. Or again, like the Knicks, continue to be mid.
Yeah, you know what? This is a team that's ready for a trade. And I feel like they're another team that's going to sit on this thing a year too long. And I know right now DeJounte is the guy that they're talking about making a move for, like, getting rid of him. I would start exploring it for anybody, and Trey included. That's how I feel about that.
God damn. Trey's been awesome this year. I think his assist totals have been going up year over year. I get it, Titus. Like, why you would want to trade him. I have to be the
go for it.
Negative
No,
on this. Be like, no. Let's not trade Trey. I think it's dumb to want to trade DeJounte, but I hear that's like the thing to do.
Yeah.
I think you should have to probably do that because, yes, the experience has been less than ideal. But I don't know what you get for him. John Collins was a great trade for them, and all they got was Rudy Gay, a second-round pick. It's just really losing guys has been better for them. This team is hopeless. Mike Carroll meter on this team was I put him at this is a 3. I don't care. I'm out on Atlanta.
Yeah, you got to trade when the value's high, and right now the value for Trey is
everything is low.
It's high. Well, it's the highest it's going to be for Trey.
Trading
Trey, I mean, like,
where do you send Trey? Like Detroit?
I don't know. It would have to be Detroit. Somebody that's, but who? I'd have to think about that. Let me think about that. I just thought, you know me, I just say trade people.
Spurs.
Think about
Spurs could be fun. You'd actually, lob it to Wembanyama, unlike the rest of his team does.
Kind of good.
But you got to get him obviously to somebody that's looking for like some sort of a star.
Utah,
maybe. You to pair with
Markkanen.
Yeah, but
he's just pale enough to really work over there. Let's see.
You won't notice him.
On that note.
Here we go.
The Charlotte Hornets.
Hornets.
It's got to be pretty low on the Carroll meter here.
Yeah.
Their resolution is get young, go young, and be young.
There you go, man.
This was their resolution last year, and they made some slight changes, but they may have gotten lucky on Brandon Miller, and LaMelo is still a young player when healthy. They'll be bad again this year, but they need to lean into it and take whatever you can get for the likes of Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, and sadly the other guy, and hope you win the Mega Millions.
The other guy.
Yeah. The other guy, I like that. Yeah, I agree with you here, Joey. Yeah, all vets got to go, get young. Hope LaMelo can stay healthy one of these seasons, and just go from there, man.
This king can F off and die in a ditch. I don't care. I hate that Miles Bridges is playing this much. LaMelo can't stay healthy, and his brother is even worse. So, yeah, let's move on.
It's a -3.
Jeez. Okay.
I like it. That was just Heat.
Negative. Speaking of Heat, Miami Heat are next.
Nice.
Their resolution is be your motto. Hardworking, nastiest, grittiest, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. It always seems to ring true when it counts. They won't kill you with their flash and dominance, but they will wear you down in ways you didn't even know you could be beaten. Another steal of the draft, and Jaime Jaquez Jr. could just be the piece they need to turn some of these ridiculous postseason runs into a title.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, when I was going through my resolutions, this was the one that I realized I didn't actually write a resolution. I said, this team is so full of themselves. I'm so tired. Like the fact that they wrote the quote on their court for the city thing. I'm just annoyed with this team. And I'm just going to rant on that real quick. And then also say that Udonis Haslem, I don't know if you saw his podcast, but he said some iffy things about Bill Russell and was kind of disappointing to hear. But I'm ready for this team to get bounced in round 1 because they're so full of themselves. And I have nothing to back that up. I think they've been a great team. And I think, Joey, what you're saying is they'll wear you down. Others still, the Jaime Jaquez piece was. It's kind of annoying that they've been this good with him because he can average 30 points. I feel like in this league if done right. So
no, I'm starting to feel like the way that Chris was feeling about Philly about the Heat, where I'm just tired of the Heat culture thing. I'm tired of it. I don't care. I'm not worried about them at all until the playoffs. This team that regularly just checks out for the whole regular season and then just decides to play hard for a couple of weeks, and everybody loves them. And you know what? I'm tired of it. And I want so bad they would never do it. I want them to be a Zach LaVine team, and then we get Jaime Jaquez is my dream. But
we like Jaquez in college too. That's the fun thing.
Love him in college, but I didn't think he was going to translate as much as he has. So
I don't think they're going to let him go for anything. I think he could be an untouchable piece at this point for them.
I know,
He fits their culture.
but that's how
All
much I
right.
want to be done. Go ahead.
We'll go Orlando Magic. Their resolution: shoot the J.
Shoot it.
In a league dominated by 3-point shooting, it's miraculous the Magic have the record they have with taking the least amount of threes per game and shooting a league worst percentage on those threes. They make up for it, though, in trips to the free throw line where they do lead the league. But when push comes to shove in the playoffs and whistles get swallowed, they need to find a way to score from the field.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
They're living at the free throw line, and it can't
doesn't work. Chris, anything on this?
So I watched the Magic versus the Raptors, which is probably the most boring game I think you could possibly watch in this league right now. So yeah, the least amount of threes is spot on. Paulo's a lot of fun. I think what I would like to say is just keep growing and take it slow. I think, but I agree with what you're saying is like take more threes and kind of just grow as a team.
Yeah.
I don't have anything funny to say either. With they just have a very linear path.
They got the D. They need the 3. Let's go.
Grow,
Nice.
grow, not show.
That show.
There we go. Thank you,
There it
guys.
is.
Go.
All
There
right.
it is. We got there.
Okay. All right. Washington Wizards, the final team in the East. Their resolution is grow up. I don't know if you guys saw, but Kuzma did something really funny. So Kuzma joking about how nobody wants to be the team that loses to the Pistons, while when he tweeted that having 3 more wins than them is peak immaturity. That is until you realize Jordan Poole doesn't know the basic rules of basketball and doesn't care to be anything other than a scorer. You got guys that know how to make money, but they don't know how to make you money. This team is stupid.
Yeah, this is another like a who
Bad.
cares team. Who
Stupid.
cares?
They're the one on the Carometer.
They're the one. Yep.
They,
I don't care about the Wizards.
the only reason we're not talking about them is because the Pistons have been so
Yeah.
bad. But at least I feel like the Pistons have a better culture. I'd rather be the Pistons than the Wizards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Right?
sure.
It's not even, yeah.
I mean, like Kuzma tweeted when they were losing, when
At least the Pistons
Boston
did
was
something.
losing to Detroit. It was like, well, we're all thinking it, but nobody wants to be that team right now. I'm like, dude, you have 3 more wins than them. Like,
Yeah.
you just happened to split up 10-game losing streaks with 1 win
Yeah.
in the middle of that. So
Right.
you
It's
feel
no one to
Yes.
shut up.
special. Yeah, this is bad.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
All right, that's it on
Yep.
the East. Move to the West.
Take
Up
it on
first,
over.
defending champion Denver Nuggets. Their resolution is to cross their fingers.
Oh,
As long as you have Jokic, you're still one of the best in the league. But some of the offseason losses, mainly Bruce Brown, have forced rookie and sophomore players into bigger roles. Jamal has already missed time, and Aaron Gordon did miss some time. He's back now after his dog bite accident. Freak story. That was an interesting story. But
Yeah.
Betting on all
He had
3.
too much eggnog, right? Sorry.
Yeah, he was wrestling with his dog, and they got a little feisty. The dogs told him. He said, "Fuck around and find out."
yeah.
But betting on all 3 of those players when healthy is easy money. But making that bet when you swap any one of them out of the lineup for the likes of Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, or Strother, Chris, I'm forgetting his first name, but it becomes Julian Strother. That becomes a lot tougher of a task. So basically, you got to have all these guys going at the right time. Losing one of them can be kind of make or break for you.
Yeah, they're definitely. I mean, they're still the defending champs, but it's starting to. We're starting to go like, hey, you guys got to be healthy when the time comes. Otherwise, this is going to be an issue. So
Yeah, they're really thin.
yeah,
I remember when they won it, they had like 7 guys, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean, they had
Christian
a
Braun
decent
being one of them,
rotation.
Problem was all those guys were on expiring contracts, and they all played really well, and they chased the money elsewhere.
That's why you have your windows, man. When you have the chance to do it, you got to do it. So
Yep. All right, Minnesota Timberwolves.
here we go.
Their resolution is let bygones be bygones. Was it the worst trade? Maybe last year, but they paid their dues for that and dealt with their ridicule. Now they find themselves staring down a potential number 1 seed in the West. This team found success and is capitalizing on it. A young Anthony Edwards with no fear and no pressure, and 2 vets in Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert who do best with no criticism and being the supporting cast is a recipe for a team who's playing with house money and no pressure to gamble at all. This one felt really good. Like Anthony Edwards seems like the kind of guy who wants the burden. He wants the show. He wants to be the guy. Gobert seems like he wants to just kind of go away. And Karl-Anthony Towns has done less than stellar things when he's had the pressure of the franchise on
He's in
him.
the right role.
It seems like the right
Yeah.
mix finally for all
Yeah.
these guys to be in.
Chris, go ahead and take it. What do you think?
No. That's my thing on the Timberwolves is more just continue the current trajectory, and that's kind of what you've said here. So it's kind of like you're saying no pressure. My only thing is I think there's pressure to not fall off and just continue what you're doing. I think it's like, hey, it's great that we're doing this, but I think there's still a subset of Minnesota fans that are like, oh my God, please win 50 plus games. Like we're on pace for that, but there is a part where we could drop off because it's Minnesota. Like there's no rhyme or reason.
If they fall to like a 4 seed, like that's not disappointing in my mind.
No, but anything below that,
Yeah,
would be a little disappointing.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
they're another team that for me is, their season's going to be defined by what happens in the playoffs. So regardless of what they get,
That's true. Yeah,
it's really going to come down to like, all right, what happens in that first, second round? Do you guys get out of those 2 rounds?
it's kind of like we got to this point. Like, all right, great, you proved the trick kind of worked. Now prove it in the playoffs.
Yeah. They're same kind of boat as Philly to me. They feel like Philly West.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
All right, next young contending team, Oklahoma City Thunder. Their resolution is to embrace your position. The signs were there last year, and they've completely verified this season. The Thunder have been steadfast and building from within, utilizing their draft capital to pick the right pieces. Now that those draft picks may start to be less valuable to them as they continue to improve, it's time to move them along in search of a missing piece and a dominant wing player. If you've done everything right so far, it's time to change your approach and lock in your seriousness.
Spot on, agree. This is a team that needs to start pushing. Like when I just talked about windows, I know that they're super young, but I think they have a window here this year and maybe next year to capitalize on something. You got to make the playoffs and you got to get into that first or second round for them. So
they need a Lauri Markkanen on their team.
That would be the move to do.
I was listening to a pod earlier this week that was talking about that exact scenario, and the guy mentioned Lauri Markkanen. I don't know if you guys listen, is on The Athletic, but there was another guy that mentioned went the other way, and I agree with the other way. Of course I did, because it's getting a rim protector big man, and like Clint Capella or Jared Allen. I alluded to that earlier, with like getting Jared Allen on this team, getting like a big guy. Chet is so skinny. Remember when he got hurt last year because of LeBron? I don't see this team doing much in the playoffs because they don't rebound, and they're very finesse. So they need a brawler. And I hope they do something. Regardless of anything that happens, they have so many picks. I was hoping you put the number of picks. I think it's like 15 over the next 4. It's an absurd number over the next short amount of time. So
this is a team that I feel like could be in danger of going like this is too much too fast and not wanting to understanding that like exactly what Joey said. Like they're in the position to just put the foot down, and it doesn't mean like go get like a superstar, but you start going filling out your roster with like what Chris is saying, big guys that can play defense on these bigger teams in the Western Conference and guys that have kind of been there before. So,
yep,
I'm with you.
Easily said. All right, Portland Trailblazers resolution is take off the training wheels. We all thought the Lillard trade was about seeing what you had in the likes of Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson, and Anthony Simons. Instead, we've seen Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Grant dominate possessions and leave the youngsters standing and staring. This team isn't good. Embrace it. See what your young core could be and make decisions on your veterans after that assessment is done. To me, this felt like they gave Jeremy Grant the contract, right? I think it was kind of to say, hey, Dame, we're kind of committed. Dame didn't bite on any of that.
Yeah.
That move ended up happening. You got Brogdon and all the swings with Holiday and Dame, and Jeremy Grant's on a big contract, so he could kind of just step back and whatever, but he's not. And then you got Brogdon, who just got swung around, from a potential championship team to the bottom of the barrel. And to me, it's kind of like he's looking at, hey, I want to get my money and find a way.
Yeah.
And this team is doing it wrong. You're bad. Play your young guys and see what they are.
Pistons West.
Get
rid of those guys.
West Detroit.
West Detroit.
Embraced it. Did you say embraced it? Did I see the word embrace Was it just once? I felt like I read that 3 times. Nope, it's just the once. But embrace it. Embrace it.
Embrace your badness. All right, easy. Kiro meter 0. Utah Jazz. Resolution. Listen, you don't need to necessarily act as they've proven they can be competitive with the pieces they have. And they've got quite a few draft picks laying around to build this team out over the next few seasons. That being said, their commodities, specifically Laurie, will be highly coveted in the next month. And they should be willing to listen to any team willing to sell the farm for one of their pieces. They shouldn't get caught up in the fact that they've been competitive, right? Like, just because you're competitive doesn't mean you shouldn't listen to a ridiculous Oklahoma City Thunder offer with a shit ton of picks for Laurie Markkinen, right? You've got to entertain that at this point.
Agree, Chris?
Yeah, listen. They should
Listen,
trade.
Linda.
They should not trade Laurie. I actually disagree with this assessment. Unless the right trade came around, which I don't think they're going to get another Gobert Mitchell kind of deal.
It would have to be OKC. The other one was with like a stash of picks that makes sense for them.
I kind of see like OKC or Utah becoming OKC, right? Like we've got some people, we've got some pieces. We're going to move them for a shit ton of picks, and over the next 5 years, we're going to just use these picks to find the right guys and build out a really good team.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's actually crazy how Walker Kessler has not been. He's kind of taken a step back. He's been kind of slow. He's not in the lineup. You guys are not aware of anything about Walker. No. Anyway, let's Carol Meter.
He was drafted by the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yes, he was.
He
went to Auburn with Jabari. The only thing I wrote about Utah was make a trade and stop fake taking. I caught this is like the fake taking team, right? Like they're kind of like in this middle ground, and they have so many assets it doesn't really matter what they do because they already made some good trades. Anyways, let's move on.
We love Utah. We always find ourselves got a lot of opinions on Utah, like Laurie Markkinen being an S tier forward. Along with Kevin Looney, or not Kevin Looney, Kevin Mobley.
Evan.
All right, Golden State Warriors. The resolution is lock in. This is it. This is the final push for this team as it stands. All dynasties, guys. This is introspective here. All dynasties die, but most of their own choosing. The Warriors aren't choosing to end this dynasty, but their inability to develop consistently young players while maintaining consistently good veterans has left them in a flux that them. Sorry, it's left them in a flux and always thinking too much. There you go, Titus. If not Steph, then who? The depth chart may be long with names we know, but the window is closed and about to be locked forever.
I got the Mac reference there. You just coughed it.
I did. I just straight up.
I've been thinking too much. Yeah, Golden State. They won't do it, but they need to trade one of those core guys, and they won't do it. So I will not feel bad for them when they just peter out and the dynasty falls.
When I thought about the Golden State Warriors, I looked at interest like as a person being them, but then I just looked at Clay. Like his resolution this year should be accept the fact that he's not the player who he was, and take on that more mentorship role, which maybe he will with Podziemski and Moody, make those guys better. I don't know what he could do. He can't physically give him his shot tools, but let's do this.
I kind of look at it as like a person who's a smoker and is like, I know I'm not going to be able to give up smoking as my resolution. So my resolution is like, hey, I'm going to, cut back, or I'm going to start vaping, like you're not really picking a safer option, but like you're making some adjustments. This is more of like, this team knows what they really need to do, but they're not going to do it.
Yep.
So they need to just like, guys, this is it. Like, this is our last run. This is our last dance. Like, the documentaries are going to be made on us. Like, this is it.
This is it.
And if we're going to go down with anything, like, it's got to be something special. And it's
going to take
everything we have, right? Like, it's going to take everything we got.
Yeah.
To make it happen.
It's this team. Yeah. That's actually a really good point, though, Joey, that you wrote in your thing, where most dynasties choose to die. And this one's kind of, it's like a TV show that just lasted 2 or 3 seasons too long.
Yep. They're out of stories. You're like, all right, we're doing this
Yeah,
again.
well, we're still getting money, so I guess we'll
Yeah,
stay.
we're
We'll
waiting
stay
for
on.
Clay. We're waiting for Clay again. All right.
Like, just show me the mother already. Just
Yeah.
end the show. and
Show
we're
me
okay.
the mother. Deep cut.
All right. I know that reference. How I Met Your
Yeah.
Mother.
I like that.
Up next, the clips. You guys want a fresh clips?
Oh yeah, the clips.
Fresh clips.
Crack clips.
Crack a clips. All right.
Clips.
Harness the youth. You're old. It's okay.
I was
But in
gonna
the
say,
first-
what you
But in the first season with load management penalties, the off-resting Clippers, big names, have found a way to stay healthy and look like the players they used to be.
Mhm.
Westbrook is coming off the bench for Harden. Westbrook coming off the bench for Harden is working in ways the Lakers wished it had, and there's scoring options everywhere you look. They can't be young again, but if they can find their youth one last time, maybe they can shock a series.
I like that. Find the youth. Find the fountain of clips, and crack one open.
I like that. That's so good. That's find the fountain of clips.
Clips.
Oh,
The
that's
fountain of
beautiful.
clips.
Okay.
Chris, any thoughts on this team?
They've won 12 of the last 14 games.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah, they're
my,
solid.
They got some groove.
my take on this was they got ahead of the resolution, and they made the resolution in like the middle of December, and
Yeah.
started winning
They
basketball
they
games.
joined
so,
the gym in December, and
Yeah,
they
just keep-
already
yeah,
lost 10
exactly.
pounds.
right.
Yeah,
So yes.
So now they just need to not quit the gym.
yeah. Don't get frustrated when all the newbies show up in January. Just keep it going.
Well, I like that. That's good.
That's the thing. Actually, that's a good point because they already made their trade, and now they got to wait for these other teams to make their trades.
Yeah.
It's good.
All right, keep it rolling, Joey.
All right, moving over to the other side of Los Angeles. The Lakers. Resolution. Be dumb. This team's window is closing
Be dumb.
almost as fast as the Warriors, and it's time to be wild. Depth should be considered a distant second thought when it comes to this team, and they should be willing to give up anyone and everyone outside of the obvious names to add perimeter scoring. You're the Lakers. You can win now, and then you can worry about easily rebuilding when your time comes. Like this team has LeBron's window, right? And everything should be considered around that window. If you're bad for 2 years, it's not going to matter. There will be another free agent superstar who says, I want to go play in Los Angeles and save the Lakers. Like you're never going to be down like a Washington or Detroit.
Yeah.
So like you can be ridiculously stupid and make a big, massive, stupid trade to try and make a push for 1 or 2 more seasons.
Yeah.
I think that's the underrated thing with LeBron, where he's so good that teams can make dumb trades and it just works out for them like all the time.
Yeah.
So keep doing it. Yeah, I agree with this.
Is Levine going here? Is that where? I mean, everybody's talking about it, but
No, I don't think so.
I don't want it because I won't be able to watch him play games as often, and that'll make me sad.
So like I don't think so because Darvin Ham doesn't like Austin Reeves for some reason.
Darvin Ham's going to lose his job soon.
You think?
ooh, yeah. There's
But
a-
like, so yeah, okay. Or because like
I mean,
the thing is like Levine is Reeves, right? So like you're just trading this. Yeah.
I don't think they would give up Reeves though, but I think
No, but then you have Reeves and Levine. How do you?
Oh,
I think that's
Reeves
what Joey's saying. It's dumb. It doesn't have to be
Yeah, like
Oh, so be dumb. Oh,
be
so-
dumb. That's what he's saying.
okay.
Like, just be
Like-
dumb. Just make the Levine trade.
bring all the possible scoring you can. Like just bring everything and just see what happens. Like just
Yeah,
you got to be
it's
stupid.
worked before.
Tell Zach stand in the corner, hit those threes.
All right, Phoenix Suns. The resolution is circle the wagons. Every negative thing everyone said about this team's build in the offseason has been fulfilled. They can't stay healthy and there's no depth. Beal has played in 9 games this season, and trading their souls for a chance at a big 3 has put all the weight on Durant to deliver. Is it Brooklyn 2.0? It has all the making of another blemish on Durant's attempt at his own super team, and they'd be best served blocking out all the noise and trying to get to the postseason, poised to do some damage.
Yeah, this is tough, man. I don't know what to make of the Suns. Chris, any thoughts on the Suns?
Circle the wagons. Yeah, and this is Brooklyn 2.0, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Beal's got to play a little bit.
They're on like the Caro meter is a little bit low on these guys. Like, I don't.
I had him at a
care.
6. I had him at a 6.
Oh, he had him way up there. Really caring about him.
Well, I thought they should be at 8 or 9,
Yeah,
but they're just
maybe like a 4 for me. Like if we're going out of 10, all right, like 4. Like all right, I guess like wake me up when you guys are healthy.
well. That's your Caro meter is
Yeah, it's very skewed.
You either got 10s or you got
It's
like
10s or
3s
or
yeah.
3s. All right, Joey, keep it rolling.
All right, Sacramento Kings resolution is round out. Sabonis, Fox, and Murray have shown plenty on offense to keep this team in the mix, the top half of the West. But when they lose, they tend to lose big and give up a lot of points. Just go look at the game logs. They are violent. I mean, like, it's scary. Nobody on their roster. That's bad. It's really bad. Nobody on their roster strikes you as a top-tier defender, and I'm not sure they have answers for the big names in the West. Actually, I am sure. I'm sure they don't have any answers to the big names in the West. They need to add a staunch defender or risk last season being their ceiling.
Yeah, I agree. Get a defender. Chris?
So this is the third team that we've said they need a defender, right? We've mentioned Milwaukee.
Defense is a lost art.
So I'm really thinking that Minnesota Gobert trade, maybe they underpaid getting some defense
Here we go.
on that team. That really
we're rewriting history right now.
solidified.
Right, now we need to move on.
Okay.
They underpaid for Gobert.
Wow, 5 picks.
Wow, 5 first-round picks.
Only 5?
That's an
Only 5?
underpayment, man. This is worth 10
for a defender. All right,
DPOY.
All right, well, the Kings done. All right, Dallas Mavericks. The resolution is eat your veggies.
Eat your veg.
Luka has the help we've clamored for in last year's resolution, adding Kyrie at last season's deadline. They've also added the likes of Grant Williams, Derek Jones Jr., and a couple of other people. The problem is this group can't stay healthy enough long enough to see what this really is. The rhythm is lacking, and it's taking everything Luka has to keep them afloat yet again. Derek Lively looks like he could be another steal of this year's draft, along with Jaime Jaquez, but counting on an unproven rookie to carry them through a loaded West isn't going to cut it. Kyrie just can't stay on the court. And every time we've seen Luka and Kyrie in extended runs, it's been, your turn, my turn kind of thing.
Yeah.
They need regular season time to figure this out, or else it's going to be Luka trying to put up 50 every game in the playoff series to get them through.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of high hopes for this team. Chris?
I got low hope. Yeah, no, I got nothing. The problem, yeah. The healthy thing with Kyrie is the note I had about this team as well. I said get healthy and play, and yeah, Derek Lively's great, I guess, but he's a rookie that he's a classic example of a rookie that looks good for 30 or 50 games, and then Taylor's off, right? So I don't think he's gonna be able to carry them like you're saying here. Yeah. So, anyways, we're good.
Easy enough. Houston Rockets. Green means go. After excelling on a bad team last season, Jalen Green has rescinded to his rookie self with worse shooting and lower scoring. The team has taken steps to be relevant, and it's helped their overall performance, but getting the most out of Green will be the key if they want to get good, and stay good.
Chris, any thoughts on Houston, man?
My thought on Houston was that they need to embrace that Alperen Sengun is the number one option of this team, despite his ugly-ass name and his European heritage. He is the best player on this team, and Houston needs to accept that.
Yeah, Houston's a very confusing team for me. Another team that should probably I don't know what they're doing. Cool.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. And I think you could have written the exact same thing about Sengun, and I actually thought about it. I was like, should I make this Alperen focused? But I kind of thought of him more as not like one dimensional, but more of a typical player. Like Jalen Green seems like the kind of guy who could give you not Anthony Edwards numbers, but like Anthony Edwards-esque, where you get to that point, and they need to focus less on Fred VanVleet and whatever the other Dylan Brooks. You've got some guys you need to put the effort into, and those need to be the guys getting your possessions. You're acting like you're about to be a contender in the West because you had a streak at some point this season, and that needs to just kind of needs to stop.
Thank you.
Ooh. All right, Memphis Grizzlies, Titus's favorite team.
Memphis. See the dunk on Wemby? Yeah.
Cool. Wemby didn't even jump. Not that he has to, but he did.
Threw it down on him. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just kidding. It was mid.
That's been a hotly used word tonight, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Memphis Grizzlies.
Mid is in.
We're
late. We're late on mid.
Yeah, we're so late on mid.
We're mid on mid.
We're mid on mid. All right,
Memphis
guys.
Grizzlies need to sprint to spring.
The Midfist Grizzlies.
The mid. No, they're
Yeah.
they're not quite mid. They need to sprint to spring. Ja is back, and this team looks completely different while he looks exactly the same. They need to hit the reset button and try to get to April as fast as they can without looking back at what happened in the first quarter of the season. Nobody will remember how they started if they finish above the play-in tournament seedings. No one's going to care about this start if they somehow find their way into the 6th seed. Like if they can somehow scrape their way there, it'll be forgotten. If they manage to like get 7-8 and win a play-in game, I think maybe it'll be talked about. But there's a decent chance with how he's playing, they might get out of this unscathed. Although they lost like 4 in a row, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean they couldn't have done anything to help him out before he came back. I mean he came back and his looked great. So yeah, just finish strong. Do what you can.
Sprint to spring.
My thing was resolution, fewer gun motions after hitting shots.
Yeah, I mean that would be beneficial.
That would be intelligent, but he was doing a dance. It had nothing to do with firearms.
Yeah, I heard.
Firearm safety. Right. Treat every gun as if it's loaded. All right, New Orleans Pelicans extend the floor. 27th in the league in three-point attempts, won't get the job done. Their inside presence is solid with Zion being healthy finally, and Brandon Ingram continuing to be solid for them. But to raise the ceiling, they need to extend the floor and be a threat on the outside. A specialist should be on their very short list for this trade deadline.
Chris, any thoughts on New Orleans?
You got 2 scores. Got to get a 3.
Yeah. The extend the floor is actually not something I thought about, but that's exactly right.
Yes.
Excuse me. The other part is a specialist, isn't he? Like they got that guy Jordan Hawkins. I haven't checked on him lately. He was huge, like 3-point threat as a rookie for them. My thing with New Orleans is they got to like choose an alpha, and then alpha's got to like take over. They're kind of like a poor man's Boston. Where like you have CJ, BI, and Zion. Who's the alpha here? Right? Like
the point. It should be Zion, but it's not. You're right.
Not an alpha talk Zion tonight too.
So in the 3-point attempts, I agree. It's because of BI. That guy he's the
Can we just say his name? I'm not a big fan.
Brandon Ingram.
Did you just
all I think was BMI when people say BI.
From Zion's BMI is also an issue, but that's
that's a separate BI.
All right, BI, Brandon Ingram.
BMI.
It's the 27th league in 3-point attempts because
alpha.
Brandon Ingram. Brandon, should we just say Brandon? No, or Ingram.
Ingram. BI. Just say BI. Everybody knows who you're talking about.
He doesn't shoot him. He's DeMar. He's DeMar in the West.
He's DeMar West.
DeMar West. We got Detroit West and DeMar West.
Trade Zion.
Zion for Levine.
What?
For Levine. Wow, nice try. He got like a chest tattoo of like a cross at a lion or something.
Off-centered, man.
It's just.
Oh yeah, people were knocking the off-centeredness.
I didn't even see it was off-centered. I just thought it was just a bad tattoo.
He has the heart of a lion.
Cool.
Wow. All right.
The tiger.
All right, guys, we made it.
I
thought we'd only take 40, 45 minutes, but here we are at an hour. We made it. We're on the last one, guys. One more.
All right, last one.
San Antonio Spurs. Is point guard. Not get a point guard. It's just point guard. I didn't
just
spare the extra word. Fuck it. Point guard.
Point guard.
Stop experimenting and get real about what you need to get the most out of Wemby. He can do a lot. Hell, he can do everything. But he will be better served in his early going of not needing to make every decision and be the only player on the team capable of doing great things. Don't force it. Let him find his way and find somebody to help guide that growth. Kind of stole from Chris. Chris, I think, mentioned it last episode.
Yeah, I did.
Last pod where he was like, they finally started playing him as a true center and not as a 4. And, it seems pretty simple. Let him just stand there, be the size he is and let him kind of find the rest of the game. Like, let it come to him and not make him have to force it to kind of,
don't force remarkable.
Don't force it.
Yeah. I'm waiting. Well, San Antonio's ways away from becoming anything. So just keep an eye on Wemby, see, how he looks, and then go from there.
I think Wemby's definitely not winning Rookie of the Year.
No, I think Chet's getting it. Yeah,
I think Chet is the favorite.
I think so,
I don't
man.
think that's not even talked about anymore.
I think it's Chet, and Jaime Jaquez might steal number 2.
That's
a conversation. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think
Webby's
this is
still up and
Chet's-
down. It gives you like two really good games, then it gives you two like disappearing games. And Chet has just been very, very consistent.
Yeah.
And OKC is going to be real good. So I think,
Mhm.
I think there's going to be a little bit of like, hey, should we give this thing to Chet?
I hope so, because I called it. You guys laughed at me. I said, don't put Wemby in the A tier or S tier, wherever we put it.
You were on it.
You're
You were on it.
I was on
Well,
once in a blue moon.
and you
All
were
right, that's
on.
it. We made it,
You were
guys.
on these resolutions, Joey. Great work by you.
Good job by you.
Good job by you, Chris. Any closing thoughts tonight here on those?
He put in a lot more effort and work. Not effort, just a lot of work. And it was good. Let's move on.
Maybe put a little more effort into that.
Thanks, Chris. I'll try harder next year.
Good work, effort. Good job. All right. Well, that is it for us tonight. Follow us on the social medias at the Box Out Boys. Slide in those DMs. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on YouTube and Spotify. We very much appreciate that. So for Chris, Joey, and Adam, until next time, Box Out.